What's up, guys? I'm Lee Morris with Fstoppers.com, and I'm here with Clay Cook. He's actually in Charleston with us right now, and we're filming a tutorial on editorial photography and fashion photography. It's kind of what you do.
Yeah.
If you're interested in learning more about this tutorial and actually getting early access and a discount, you can go to the link below in the description of this video, and you can sign up with your email, and we will send you early access when it becomes available. But today, at this moment, we are going to do a critique the community. So about a week ago, we posted on Fstoppers, hey, give us your best editorial and fashion photography and we will critique them. What we're going to do is we're going to count down 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to throw out a number, 1 through 5. 1 is a snapshot, 2 needs work before it hits your portfolio, 3 is a solid image for your portfolio, 4 is excellent, 5 is world-class or unforgettable. Let's get right down to it. Here's the first shot. Are
1, 2,
you
3.
ready? 1, 2, 3, then we throw.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
I'm in between numbers here. We can't do half numbers though. We have to just throw. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. What'd you get? 3?
3.
We agree?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about why you give it a 3.
Okay, so it's a nice shot here. I think that the colors are really great. I think that we have some really great posing. The model is styled well. The makeup is awesome. We have a really great overall fashion shot here. There's a few things that throw me off in this shot. One is this line down here. It's a little bit slanted. It's not perfectly straight, if you can see it.
It may actually be the height of, like the back of the car could be a little higher than the front, but I agree, it does feel a little strange.
It throws like the structure of the car a little bit off. Now that could be easily solved by just like shifting that crop a little bit.
Yeah.
Secondly, it just looks a little unnatural to me. I think the lighting is just a little bit too punchy. It's a little too specular. I think if they would have shot this just hard light or with the sunlight or just sort of natural light, it would have added a little bit more, just sort of a, I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out, like,
shadows are strange here.
they are strange. They don't necessarily bother me. What kind of cheapens this image? Like, I initially wanted to give it a 4. I feel like the strange shadow that's on the bottom of the car, like that exists only kind of in the bottom left, but then the upper right side of the red car is totally lit. It almost looks like, with these reflections in the side of the car, it almost looks like direct flash to me. It kind of seems a little cheap.
It's a little too specular. It's like a little direct, too direct.
Yeah, so it just seems like all of the focus was put on the model, and I think she looks great. Like her pose, her styling, I think she looks awesome. The car, the outside of the car just cheapens it the slightest bit. I feel like with maybe another color grade or something and a little bit more post-processing on the car, this could have been like a 4 or 5-star image for me. But as it is right now, I think it's a solid shot, and I definitely lean towards the 4. 3.5 is what I was thinking. Cool. Next shot. Yep.
All right.
Very interesting. So the difficult thing with editorial photography to me, it's kind of like wedding photography, whereas like for a magazine, it could be excellent, but like, should it be in your portfolio?
Right.
You know, is it going to blow people away just as a photo by itself?
Right.
I don't know. We can talk about it in a second.
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you gave this one a 4.
Yeah.
I was about to say I'm going to rate these the same, but I actually preferred the last shot a lot more. You prefer this shot.
Yeah. I'll tell you why. I think that there's some really great lines here. There's a really cool, like when you look at this, it's compelling. I look at this and I'm interested in what this person represents or what he's doing.
Yeah.
There's a few things that do throw it off me that don't take it to a 5. And one is that this right side of this image, there's this missing piece of this structure. I would have just I would have just comped this left side onto the right side and make it even and symmetrical and perfectly straight. But I think that this could be like a really cool advertising shot. I don't know what he would be advertising, but it sets up for a really great editorial story because it adds a lot of mystery.
That's the thing. I feel like if this was in a magazine, it's awesome. Like you know, you're probably about to see a lot more pictures of this guy, and this is just one of like 6 pictures of this guy, so it makes sense. But to be a standalone image, that's where I struggle to give it the 4, and that's why I give it the 3. I think it's a solid looking shot, but
I agree with that.
It's not blowing me away.
Right.
What do you think of the cropping at the knees?
Yeah, I think that I would push that crop up just so it's just the building and not necessarily the ground. So I would give this a more 3/4, so more at the thighs rather than the crop at the shins, just to get rid of that ground. So it's just the structure, and so he's more in the bottom side of this frame. So there's a lot of room for copy here. There's a lot of room for text if this was to be in a magazine.
Right. All right, next shot.
Okay.
I am ready.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Really? 2? Okay, tell me why.
Okay, from a lighting standpoint, from just an overall photography technical standpoint, this is an amazing shot.
Yeah.
I think it's a great shot.
Yeah.
But what throws me off is that it just feels very staged. It feels very fake to me. It's obviously shot in a studio with a cigar. He's lighting this cigar. But I think that this would have been a whole lot better if they would have taken this shot on location, maybe a speakeasy or something like that, and thrown some sort of better context to the subject matter here, some sort of space to this scenario, which would have given a little bit more explanations for why he's smoking a cigar in a studio or something. Like, that's kind of what I feel. But technically, it's a great image. Technically,
yeah. I would love to hear the story of this image. Was this shot for a magazine? It feels like a really well done test shot to me. It feels like I'm taking a picture of my assistant in the studio, and we have this cigar prop, and like, you obviously know what you're doing and you did a great retouch. Like, it's a solid image, but it doesn't feel like this guy is a local chef and the stories about him. To me, now, the second you take this shot and you put copy over it and you add a bunch of other pictures, then it would flow just fine. But whoever took this shot, if you see this, I'd love to hear the story.
Yeah, it's a great shot, for sure. I think that, like I said, if you were to throw this on a cigar cover or a cigar magazine, on the cover of that magazine, I think it would totally change a lot of this image. But if standalone, it's not screaming out to me.
Okay. So the basic rating system is based on your portfolio, and so 2 is needs work before it hits your portfolio. Do you still stand by that? Like, you don't think this should be on somebody's website? I would say that this photographer knows what they're doing, and I bet they have stuff that they like a lot better than this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, next up.
Okay.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. 2, we agree. Yep. Needs work before it hits the portfolio. Obviously, this isn't a snapshot because we have some directional lighting going on here, but it's not good directional lighting. It's overexposed. It's
not flattering.
Blown out spaces on her face. It looks like it's a test shot because she's like dead in the face. And then I'm not sure what type of shirt this is. Like, you're in the fashion world, so I get fashion's not supposed to make sense. It's supposed to be ridiculous, but like, a lot of times you can take like the insane outfit, but then do the over-the-top set design, and then it becomes a high-end fashion picture. But you take the over-the-top fashion, and then you do like the cheapo lighting.
Doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
I think this is that case. It's like, I think that the styling is cool. I don't know what this plant is here. It feels almost too forced in the frame, like in the foreground, like it's almost was put there to just be there to fill in negative space. So I would have just totally taken that on the frame, unless it's playing to this concept, which is obviously matching the styling on the clothing here. So it's like flowers on flowers or something. I don't know the concept, but I think that the styling itself is kind of cool. I would have pulled out, because you're obviously shooting something that's unique. It's a top that's like interesting, or it's a dress that's interesting. I probably would have pulled out 3/4 and tried to capture it in a different way and not make it so proppy. And like, I don't even know where this location is. It looks like it's in the back room of somewhere.
It's like a garage.
It's like a garage. It's very dark.
Back, right?
Like, I would have tried to like use that location to play with this styling, or some way to change this up so where it's not just about this strange prop here and about this model who is wearing this unique clothing. So make it about fashion. It's the clothing. It will be different. It will be unique, but there's better ways to improve this shot.
Next up.
All right.
Very interesting. Now, what type of shot would you consider this? Like, this certainly isn't editorial photography. It feels like a advertising fashion type shot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. 3, we agree.
Yep.
Solid image. It feels like it's close to me to a 4.
4.
But I just feel like her facial expression is like a little fake
Forced.
and stuff. Yeah. It just doesn't feel, she doesn't feel like a high-end seasoned model to me. Mm-hmm. And that's the only reason, like it has nothing to do with the photography.
Yeah, I think that her expression is just a little bit forced. I think that if she was like naturally laughing in this scenario, or just like, or she had like a giant sort of expression on her face that's like, you know, it's real, it would have added to this shot significantly. But it just feels kind of like it's a fake half smile, which is something that
3, 2, 1, smile.
Yeah, that's just not really realistic. So, you know, the pose I don't mind. I think it's cool. I think the best part about this is the actual technicalities of the shot. You know, the background, the lighting. We've got some color coordination here that's working. The contrast of the shoes and the clothing. Yeah. And obviously her skin is just really coming off this background, and I think it works. I think the actual photography portion of this, I think the only thing that's lacking is the actual subject matter and the expression on her face.
Let's move on. So this is, I wouldn't say this is what you do, but this is kind of in the world of what you do. I've seen some pictures somewhat similar to this on your website. Mm-hmm. I think I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. 2, we agree?
Yep.
Yeah, it just feels like we're close. Like the photographer knows what they're doing, but like the model's lacking a little bit. She definitely doesn't look comfortable. Yeah. And the lighting feels a little harsh to me. It almost feels like this was shot with like one light, and then instead of shooting it on white, they were like cut out and placed on white. And so it just feels cheaper to me than like some other shots on white that I've seen on your site.
Yeah, I think the biggest critique here for me is that I think the styling is on point. I think the hair and makeup is on point. I would have probably chose a different model for this particular set, but
is it like because in the left shot she seems to have longer hair than in the right shot?
It's because it's in a high ponytail, like a high bun, and her neck is just back, so
okay.
That's why you can't really see it. But yeah, I think as far as the concept is there, I think the concept is there, but the photography for me isn't quite there. It looks like there was just a white background that was used, and it was just one big light, but it was like soft, so it's not really playing to this edgy sort of poppy clothing at all.
What would you have done with the lighting?
I probably would have just done a hard, really specular style lighting in this case, something that's just going to bring out these clothes and bring out these colors a little bit more rather than trying to soften them.
What's your opinion of the pure white background versus using the white background and maybe casting a shadow on the white background or something?
Like if you're using hard light, the background's going to be all that spill is going everywhere, so it's going to be white no matter what. But it's also going to look a lot more natural. Like this just looks a little overlit to me, you know. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest problem with this is like there's just too much lighting here. Like it needs to be broken down into basics of like how a sun would naturally fall in a background or how light would fall into a model like this naturally. So,
all right, let's move on. Interesting.
Okay.
Man, this is a tough one for me. I'm going to go a little hard.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. You gave it a 2. I was on the fence, man. I'm like at a 2.5 on this one. What do you think about it?
So I think technically from a photography standpoint, this image is awesome. I like the background. I think it's a cool location. I think that the lighting is just spectacular. It's really moody. It's soft. It's natural. There is this like strong highlight on the right side of the image, but I think that's totally cool. It's not a big deal. The biggest critique for me is actually the pose of the model. Like it feels unnatural. Like she lifted her right leg and then it's not sitting on anything. So if she was like maybe leaning back significantly more, it might work better. But in this case, it looks like she's just lifting her leg. Another thing is the jeans are just so black that you can't really tell at first glance whether she's lifting her left leg or her right leg. So, like when I first looked at that.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, when I first looked at it, like it just kind of blended in, and I couldn't really tell which leg she was lifting. But if it was a left leg, it might actually work better if it was her left leg. But since it's her right leg, it just feels a little bit more awkward to me. I think if she was leaning significantly more back, it would work.
I'm having like a optical illusion moment where it's like switching back and forth right now.
It's crazy.
She looks really uncomfortable to me, and I'm all about like the wacky poses and stuff for fashion shots, but like it doesn't feel like she's in the motion of making this pose. It feels like she's like stuck in this pose, like take the shot, take the shot. So
I think that if that foot was down, this would be a 4 easily. Okay. If that foot was simply down and she was just leaning more back into this, I think
I would like to see that. I would like to see that. Part of me thinks that I would still like it might still be boring. It might be even more boring at that point. I don't mind.
I mean, it would play to these lines. I think there's like some really nice vertical lines going on here, which would really increase the height of her. But I don't know.
Well, whoever took the shot, if you happen to have any other poses, upload them in the post when we publish this video.
Yeah, it's a great shot. Okay.
All right, I think I am ready.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Really?
Yeah.
Really? I gave it a 3. You gave it a 2. Why did you give it a 2?
I'm gonna lean on the hard end of this because of the fact I think the lighting on her face is perfect. I think that is spectacular. The pose is awesome. It's really working. The biggest problem I have with this shot is that because you're using such a powerful strobe, that you're just knocking all ambience out. So it doesn't look natural to me. Like you basically have eliminated the lighting in these lamps. And if these lamps were brighter, it would have taken this up a completely new level, I think. And that's what the biggest problem with me is that it looks strobed. It looks like you brought in artificial light. But if you would have like brought these lamps up and you would have put some CTO on these strobes, it probably would have completely changed the shot.
That's an interesting critique because I would assume that this photographer did this on purpose. Like they were trying to get this like wacky look. And I think the reason why I do like it is because it's different. However, I completely agree with you. Like the model, her expression, the light on her looks awesome to me. And I understand it's like a beautiful model in an ugly room, but it's like it's ruining the shot for me, and that's why I didn't give it a 4 or more. Is just because I feel like this messy, cheap-looking hotel room kind of takes away from the model in this case.
And also, like what she's wearing doesn't really work with the location too much.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It looks like she's wearing like a sports sort of not yoga, but some sort of like outdoor outfit, and then she's in this like, shady hotel room.
Yeah, so I don't know. I certainly see your critique. I personally like what the photographer was trying here, but it's not amazing to me. So in between 2 and a 3.
Okay.
All right, so you ready for this shot?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. 3, we agree. It's a solid image. I feel like this one, to me, comes down just to the post-processing. I know for a fact I would give this a 4 if it had a stronger post-processing and color grade to it. It feels like parts of it are just kind of overexposed. Like her outfit and her leg is just a little bright to me. And then I feel like it could use a vignette or something on all these albums to just kind of bring your eye in. It feels like this is kind of straight out of the camera to me.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's not really much processing on this. There's not too much grade on it, I feel like. It's not really a creative grade. The biggest critique I have is actually more in the lighting and the pose. I think it's just strange to look at that it's diagonal. I'm a fan of like structured lines and things like that, and just like kind of this is obviously like there's a lot of lines going on. There's a lot going on. But the lighting is the biggest thing for me. It's not so directional. It's like it's coming from the side, and so like these records above her head are brighter than the records down below, and it's just kind of feeling a little uneven for me. And then the pose is awesome. I love her expression. I just would have brought her knee down a little bit so it really amplifies that line in her leg. But other than that, I think it's a great shot.
I love the pose and the expression,
Yeah,
at least from
right.
like the hips up. I just feel like it's just such a natural. She feels so comfortable to me
agree.
compared to some other shots that we've looked at so far. All right, next shot. I'm gonna buy this outfit for my wife for Christmas.
Okay.
I don't even know what the heck. Like this is so hard to judge. Like to me, this feels like this is a play or something, and somebody photographed this woman standing up on a stage or something.
Yeah.
All right. That's 3, 2, 1. You gave it a 3. I gave it a 2 just because I don't know what the hell is going on, and I'm thinking solely about your portfolio. So, if this is the type of thing in your portfolio, then yeah, I would probably give it a 3. Yeah. But like, if you have normal looking pictures and then this is one, it just doesn't. I can't understand it enough to say I'm on board.
Right. For me, I have an intern that photographs stuff like this. It's very conceptual. It's very dark, dramatic. She always uses black backgrounds or gray backgrounds. But I think in this case, for me, it's a little overlit. It looks like we have 2 different lights, almost 3 lights coming from all different directions. It's a little flat for me.
Yeah.
I think that if you would have toned the lighting down on one side, it would have added a lot of dynamic, a lot of shadows, and a lot of drama to this shot.
That's why I said it felt like somebody's up just on a stage or something.
Yeah.
Because she's lit from all sides, and it just kind of takes away any direction or any shadow that you might be able to work with.
Yeah.
Next up.
All right.
This is tough, man. All right, I think I'm ready. 3, 2, 1. Okay, 4. So I almost gave it a 4 just because I feel like the styling and the model are really good. But then I'm like, as it sits on its own, I can't give it a 4. Like, in a body of work with other similar pictures, I could. Why did you give it a 4?
I gave it 4 because I just love the subject matter here. The location, the colors, the styling, the model, it's all working. The lighting is natural. I think it all works in this case. The biggest critique I have, I mean, it's out of focus. It's blurry, but that's not really a concern of mine. I mean, it's not really a big deal. I can tell that there's some motion blur to this, so they had to shoot, at a slow shutter probably to bring in all this natural light. But honestly, that's okay. A lot of my shots I have in my portfolio are actually out of focus, so that's not really a concern of mine. But I think that just everything is working here, from the lighting to the model to the styling, hair and makeup, and the sunglasses. I think it all kind of clicks for me. There are a few things like straightening up some of these lines and whatnot that I would fix, but it's fixing composition. But overall, that's why I gave it a 4. I think it's a great shot.
All right, next up. I've seen a lot of fashion pictures with girls with what animal is that?
Octopus.
Octopi on their heads. I don't get it, but let's do it.
All right.
3, 2, 1. You gave it a 4. I gave it a 3. Now, I this was another one that I almost gave it a 4. The thing is that I've actually seen a lot of pictures with octopi on people's heads.
Yeah.
And I've seen some amazing ones that are like flawless.
Yeah.
This one, they put the dead octopus up there a little sloppily, you know what I mean? It's like the octopus looks like it's been dead for a while. It's kind of slimy looking. It's not straight. The suction cups are all over the place. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel as polished as other octopus head pictures that I've seen.
That's yeah.
So why did you give it a 4?
I think it just all kind of is interesting to me. And like looking at this photo, it's interesting to me. I don't know about the octopus. That's not really what I really look at honestly first, which is shocking. I actually look at
that is shocking.
I look at actually the model first, like the expression on the face, and I look at the body tone, and I look at the wetness and the lighting and how direct, and it feels like it's a very strong image. I love that it's black and white. Honestly, I think the octopus takes away from this shot. If there was,
I might agree. Like the cheapest lit part to me looks like the octopus.
Yeah. I even though I understand that's a part of the concept, and so you're playing at this wetness, and it's a cool shot. Like I think it's an awesome portfolio shot, but you know, like maybe without that octopus, this would have been a world-class shot.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, that is a bold statement. Let's move on before you say anything more ridiculous than that. Okay.
Just to go back, I mean, I think that shot looked like something Albert Watson would shoot or something like that, you know.
I definitely, I don't know who Albert Watson is, and I know I'm going to get murdered for that, but I've definitely seen super high-end fashion photography done like this with really dark skin in the wet, and it's reflective, and it's like, it's really cool looking. And then if you look at the octopus, it just kind of looks like, meh, just, you know, it's not the same, like, hardcore reflection at all.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
I don't know. It kind of looks like two different images smashed together.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this shot focused on her hand? It's really hard to see on this iPad. This is like one of the older iPads, and it's not super high res. This looks like it might have been shot on film or something.
Yeah. Like a medium format.
All right, I think I'm ready.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, 2. We agree. You know, this is the type of thing where every once in a while I'll see a super wealthy, high-end art photographer, and you'll go to their website, and it'll be stuff like this, and it'll be like 1,000 pictures that look like this, and half of them are blurry, and half of them are like, and I always wonder how the heck are these people making money, but they do. So I do want to say that whoever took this, if this is your style and this is what you're doing, I don't want to tell you like it's wrong or it's bad or whatever, but to me, it just feels kind of like a poorly lit snapshot that's not interesting to me.
You know, the focus, something to keep in mind, the focus, if it's on the hand, the focus could be the actual ring here. That's something to keep in mind. I don't think it is, but it looks like it was shot on film. It looks like it was, I like the kind of mood and the blurriness and the motion of it all. I think it really works. The biggest critique I have is actually the lighting doesn't really add much contrast to it. It's almost like too far forward. It's not like dramatic enough to really create a compelling, some compelling shadows here. And then the hand is just kind of like sticking. It's like just kind of floating. I think that if that hand would have been placed somewhere, it's really play into her expression, I think it would have worked a little bit better.
Next image. This is interesting because we shot a picture for the tutorial. You know, it's not totally like this, but it is kind of similar. Like we're on the white on white with the white chair and then the shadows. We did something kind of similar to this. I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. You gave it a 3, I gave it a 4. To me, this is by far the best shot I have seen so far, but you don't think so.
No. The reason why I don't think so, I think that it's an awesome shot. Like, we've got a really great shot here. The lighting is awesome. It's very directional. It's dramatic. It's punchy. It's specular. It's highlighting her thighs. It's really forming her body really well. The reason why I didn't give it a 4 is simply because of the pose. I think that I'm trying to determine whether this is like a masculine pose or a female pose, and I can't really determine. She's wearing a bodysuit, so you really want to bring out that female sort of aspect of a bodysuit, but at the same time, you can go masculine with this pose. So that's my biggest critique about this, is like it feels kind of too structured or too placed. There's not really much organic or rawness to this, and it's a black and white, so it's got to be, you know, like when I see black and white, I want it to feel raw, and I just don't feel that with this shot.
I would love to see more poses from this set. But I think I like the pose. I don't know. It doesn't bother me that much. Maybe this one foot that the heel's not down, it feels a little awkward to me. But
it's like almost too perfect for me.
Okay. The lighting on her face, I love it, man.
Yeah,
I
it's great.
love, like, and I would assume some of this has been brought back by dodging, because if you look at the shadow density under her nose and then compare that to her cheek, you would imagine it would be the same darkness, but it's darker under her nose and it's a little brighter on her cheek. I just think it looks great.
Yeah.
My biggest critique for this image would just be to clean up the seamless a little bit. It just looks like there's footprints back
right
there.
on here.
But
I've seen a lot of world-class shots that have dirt all over the
so have I, man.
And the psych walls.
What the hell do I know? Every time I think that, that's a crappy image. Oh, that image just sold for $5 million. So obviously I don't know it all. All right, next shot. That's interesting. I'm ready when you are.
This is tough.
You in between numbers?
Yeah. Definitely am. All right.
3, 2, 1. 3 again. I gave it a 4.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Tough. I think the biggest thing when I first look at this is that we have awesome colors, we have awesome styling, great just overall mood. It's shot in like really ambient, natural light, probably just an overcast day. The biggest critique I have is just the lines that are playing into this. It's kind of like throwing the whole image off for me. And that might just be my OCD coming out. You know, like I like structured lines and I like vertical 90-degree angles, which we'll talk about in the tutorial. But for me, that's like all these like strange diagonal lines just kind of throw off the whole thing. However, the colors here are just so amazing. There's a lot of nice color play. It's like really working. The second reason why I didn't give it a 4 is just sort of the expression on her face. It's just a little blank for me.
I completely agree. I absolutely love her pose. I think it's so awesome, and the way the dress is going out looks amazing.
Yeah.
Her face is definitely a little lacking to me. And then, you know, if you could imagine this image without the railing, I think it would be even better. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
And then if there was some way to get just a little bit better expression, man, I might give it a 5 at that point. It's just a little strange to have something so elegant, like she's wearing the most beautiful dress. The background looks like some incredible mansion or something.
Yeah.
And then it's like this wrought iron. It just kind of brings it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But even still, I'm giving it a 4-star.
Wow.
Next image. Are you ready?
All right.
3, 2, 1. 3 is 4.
4.
4? You're out of your damn mind. All right, so why did you give this one a 4 and not the last one?
So with this, it's hard to pose couples. I think that's the biggest thing I see here is that it's not easy to pose 2 people or 3 people or 4 people. And I think I'm looking at this image and my first inclination is like we have all this blown out highlights and it's throwing all this stuff off. The lighting's not good. But I think that we have the expressions down there.
Come on.
You
can't say, well, my first thought is this picture's horrible, but those expressions are...
But the pose and the expressions are there. I actually don't mind how the highlights are blown a little bit. I don't really mind, except on her hair a little bit. Like that's throwing me on. That's bothering me. I think it just looks natural. I think if the average person was look at this, they would not care about those windows as much. They would look at it as it's being bright and airy and just sort of like it's light, and they wouldn't know what that is. And so you have to consider they're going to look at the clothing, they're going to look at the pose, they're going to look at everything else. So I think it's a great shot. But yeah, I mean, from a lighting standpoint, if they were to light this indoors, it'd be a pretty big challenge to like try to light this and keep it natural.
I still gave this a 3. It's a solid image for your portfolio. I don't think her expression is good. I think she looks like, what the hell am I supposed to be doing? And I think her right hand is like the awkward model cup hand that feels really weird to me. It doesn't feel like she's engaged with him at all to me. It just feels like she was placed in this awkward pose.
I agree with that.
He looks much more comfortable. I would love to see this shot in black and white because to me, that couch is kind of wrecking the shot for me. I'd love to see this in black and white with a lot of contouring on their faces and stuff and really just make it look like they're kind of glowing in the scene. I might love this shot at that point. But the way it is right now, it just kind of feels like, hey, just get on that couch and you sit like this and you sit like this. And so it's not, I can't give it the 4.
No, I agree. I think that with her hands and her face that really throws the image off a lot. But the first thing I looked at was him. So
yeah, he looks great.
I didn't really pay attention. Like, it's odd for this to work this way, because normally the male is like more of a prop, but in this case, I think the female is more of a prop, and the male is just stealing the show here. So,
next shot. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. 2 stars. Yeah. We agree. To me, this just feels like
it's not working. It's not there.
Yeah, and to me, I think the lighting is too close to the lens. Mm-hmm. You need to move the light away from the camera and get some direction to those shadows. You can see these shadows just being cast back behind these guys, and it just feels like direct flash and kind of cheap to me.
I completely agree. Like, first thing I saw was like these specular highlights on their cheek that was so direct. It was so directional. Like, the shadows are just falling really weird on this background here. It almost looks like it's almost like an on-camera direct flash to a degree. It's just too. It's not.
It very well might be with the camera turned sideways.
Yeah,
and then it's flashing from the left.
Right. It just looks so directional. It just doesn't look like a realistic style of lighting or a natural sort of lighting at all. I do like their styling. I do like what they're wearing. I like the models themselves. I actually like that glow from behind them. I think that's really cool. But if this key light was just a different lighting style or a different position, I think it would have worked.
It can't be on-camera flash because the shadows are being cast down just a little bit.
Yeah,
so it's just slightly above.
Yeah.
But I think with just a little bit of movement here, I like the posing and the vibe and everything. It's just, I just want that light coming from light the guy on the right directly from the side and just have his face cut out from the background a little bit and light the other guy from the front or something and just mix it up a little bit. All right, you ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Okay. I agree this image is not good, but you can't give it a 1 because a 1 is a snapshot.
All right.
So it is a 2, but it's not a very good 2. It needs a lot of work. And the problem with this shot is that they're lighting the like model, her face and her legs separately, and it just doesn't work when you're doing full body like this. Like, it's not an even exposure at all.
Yeah, it's like everything is just kind of unfortunately not working in this case. I actually like the model. I actually like a model's face a lot. I think she has a striking jawline and a striking face.
Yeah.
But the clothing to the purple background to the stool, it's just kind of all weird. And then the light is probably the poorest thing about this shot, is that it's just so flat. There's nothing here that sells like a mood or editorial whatsoever. It feels very portrait.
Next image. All right, this feels like some stuff that you would do too. Mm-hmm. Taking models out on location and shooting clothing kind of in the real world.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I'm ready when you are. 3, 2, 1. 3. Mm-hmm. We agree? Tell me about it.
I love this shot. I think it's awesome. I think it's just a spectacular natural light shot. I believe the biggest thing that throws me off is the pose. We have this like cool tunnel here. We have all these awesome, spectacular lines. The styling is great. I love the model. I just think that the pose is a little forced. If we would have had this model walking forward, or you would have had her in motion, or, we already have motion in this dress or this skirt here. But if she would have been walking or doing something to move these legs and not such a static pose, I think it would have worked a lot better. But the light and the actual composition and everything is working here.
I feel like from her knees up, her pose does look very genuine. But that strange leg cross looks
the leg cross. And, unfortunately, that's like a go-to pose for a lot of models.
But this is not the pose she was going. This is like in between the leg cross and another pose or something.
I don't know, man. I've seen like a lot of models just immediately go to cross the legs.
Yeah.
But it's like something I try to break out of models because it can look just overly posed. So what I try to do is get those feet moving and start walking the model and get some movement. I might have used this like railing as well for something. I don't know what, but there's a lot of options here when you have a location like this. So
my eye keeps going to her shoulder, and the fact that these lines are like perfectly drawn by her right shoulder. It's so strange. It's almost like, you know, somebody drew that in post. I think it's a fine image. That's why I gave it 3 stars. I think this would be great for a magazine because you needed to shoot this girl wearing those clothes.
Yeah.
It's fine. I just wonder if this is like the best thing that the photographer could put on their website. You know what I mean?
I think her face is awesome. I mean, I wouldn't have shot it at this shallow depth of field, but I think that's subjective. So,
all right, next shot. All right, you ready?
Because it's like 2 different images here.
yeah. No, I don't know how we're gonna. I actually would give the same rating for both.
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, 3.
Yeah, I would agree.
I want to give this 4, especially the one on the left. The crop feels really strange to me on the one on the left. It's like too tight, and then the shirt doesn't feel like it fits her to me, and so it's not working. It's like this beauty model who looks great. The lighting's awesome. The retouching's good, and then this oversized shirt that looks like I would wear it or something. And then on the right, I think it's the same shirt, but it's opened up. Okay. Now it works. But she's got this horrible facial expression that's like, get me out of here, I hate my life.
Yeah. I think they're both great shots, to be honest, but the reason why I didn't give it a 3 is just because this crop is really strange to me. I would have cropped all this in. Like,
on the left.
On the left, yeah. I think that like the fashion, the styling here is actually working. I think it's cool. Like, she has an oversized shirt. Like, that is definitely some fashion stuff. But there's so much negative space in this background that my eye is actually drawn to that negative space for whatever reason. So I would have definitely pulled this crop in significantly on the left. But I get it, you want to show the clothing and whatnot, and maybe she just didn't get the frame there, or he or she didn't get the frame. But I like the shot on the right, but I would agree with the expression. I think I want a little bit more strength here because this is such like masculine clothing. You know, we got jeans, oversized shirt, that kind of thing going on. Hair's wet. I definitely would have tried to pull out some different expressions, like a stronger expression.
Next up. Oh.
That's it?
We have finished.
Wow.
Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you're interested in seeing more of Clay Cook's work, you can head over to his website. What's your website?
claycookphoto.com.
claycookphoto.com. And like I said, if you're interested in learning more about the tutorial, getting early access, and getting a discount, you can go to the link below, type your email in, and you will be the first to be notified once it becomes available.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right. See ya.